guys, welcome to Lighthouse Tarot, where we embrace the light within ourselves and within others. I'm your host, Rachel Riley. If you're a new subscriber, welcome! Welcome to my channel. If you're an old subscriber, thank you so much for coming back, and thank you so much for your support. I don't know if I've done this yet, but I just want to go ahead and give a great shout out to you guys. Thank you for liking, thank you for commenting, thank you for all the loving, supportive comments in the comment section. Thank you so much. But without further ado, I am going to talk about Lilith in the 7th house and what that means for you. What does it mean when you have Lilith in the 7th house? What does it represent? What circumstances are you going to come through? How can you overcome this energy? And my take on this, because I have this placement. Now, I got this idea from my friend Anthony. Shout out to Anthony. Check out his channel if you want. And he helped me figure out what my Lilith sign was, and when we were researching this, it went so deep and everything clicked. It was almost like when I discovered I was a Scorpio rising and all my life kind of made sense. All the themes, all the reoccurring circumstances, all the reoccurring themes and circumstances and experiences I would have as a Scorpio rising, it just made sense after I figured out, oh, okay, it's because of these planets. Now, with my Lilith in my 7th house, this made sense too. So what does it mean when you have Lilith in your 7th house? Your 7th house represents partnership and marriage. And Lilith is rejection. It is when the part of us that we don't really flex to people. We don't really say, oh, this is my sun sign, here's my moon sign, here's my Lilith, let me know all about it. But because I'm a Scorpio rising, I want to talk about the dark, the rejection, all of that intrigues me and interests me. So Lilith is the part of ourselves that we reject, and our shadow selves that we may push down, that we may try to ignore, that we may run away from, and it manifests in other people when we do not confront it. So if you want to overcome your Lilith sign, or rather not overcome, just accept it, go straight into it and accept it yourself and figure out what it is and then go forward from that. But anyway, so Lilith in the 7th house. Marriage, partnership. Growing up with Lilith in the 7th house, because it is in marriage, your parents may have been divorced. If they were not divorced, you may have grown up in a household where you wish your parents were divorced, where your parents should have gotten a divorce, but perhaps they didn't. So growing up, you may have had that subconscious in the back of your mind knowledge, marriage doesn't work. Marriage is meant to fail. When people get married, they are unhappy. When people are married, they fight. When people are married, they are not free, and really have this bitterness towards it. And you might not have even known that. You may be someone that's like, oh my God, I want to get married. I want to like settle down, but your subconscious mind is fighting with you, and Lilith is rejecting it. Therefore, when it comes to marriage, you will fight against what your culture esteems for marriage to be true. So say your culture says the woman should stay home and then the man should go work and then the woman should take care of the house. Your Lilith will reject it and try to destroy it. And I know that's true for me. With my Lilith in 7th house, I strongly dislike the culture of marriage and the societal norms, because I took sociology way back when I went to college. One of my most interesting classes was sociology and psychology. And when I took sociology, my teacher, she was explaining, you know, psychology is the study of one person as an individual. Sociology is the study of a group. Why does the group act like this? Why does a society act like this? Why does a community act like this? Why does a culture act like this? And it goes very scientific as well as psychological. So she was telling me we put all these norms on women, and women, they spend all this time like cleaning the house, and she had the data to show it, to back it up, saying like the amount of time that a woman, they just keep going further and further because they have to spend all the time cleaning, so they can't focus on themselves, and then they have a child and they're expected to stay with the child, or they are ridiculed for hiring a nanny or taking time to work as well, so they really can't win, and then men end up being more ambitious than that. So in that class, in that moment, when I heard that, I was like, I will never be like that. I will not do that. I will go make my money. I will go build my career. And really, I strive to have a man that stays at home. I rather have the man take care of, you know, the house and cook the food for me when I get home. I rather reverse the role completely, and I go and be the breadwinner. I be the person that's investing and fully in my career and taking care of the home, but completely free, because I found that so oppressive. And then I noticed that around me. I noticed a lot of women were in marriages and relationships where they were just straight up unhappy, and it lights a fire within me to go against it. So with Lilith in the 7th house, you may feel really, really passionate about rejecting that whatever cultural norm you're from that comes to marriage or partnership, whatever is thrown at you, you may run away from it or push it away or go in a completely different direction because of your Lilith in 7th house. Now, Lilith in a 7th house, if you are a man, this means if you are married or in a relationship, you will be tempted to cheat. And I'm not just saying somebody walking across the street and they're like, oh, there's a cute girl. No, there will be somebody that will come up to you and just be like, hey, to you as a man, if you are married, and that temptation will be in your face. They will be chasing after you because of that relationship. And this is something that men will struggle with if they have Lilith in their 7th house for the rest of their life. So I would encourage them to be aware and confront it and move on, or if they're unhappy, leave a relationship to protect the other person, not to hurt them. If you are a woman, however, and you have Lilith in your 7th house, this manifests as you attracting people who are in relationships already, who are dating someone, who have a boyfriend, girlfriend, in a committed relationship, or they are married. And you will be seen as the temptress, as the person that is the other woman, as the home wrecker. Even if you do not act on this, even if you're completely single, you're completely happy, and you set your settings on a dating app to like, I want to meet new people. And I've found this in my life. I really do attract people that are either in the middle of a divorce, in the middle that they've been divorced several times, in the middle of a marriage, or dating somebody, and they will communicate with me that they want to perhaps leave that person and interact with me. And then it won't be as far as just like, oh, hey, you're pretty. They will say, wow, you're really attractive. Like, I wish I had dated you. Are you free tonight? Maybe we could get a hotel room. And very, very, they push that onto me. And as well as I project that too, because I did notice when I was younger in that energy, it made me feel really good. It made me feel important when, you know, it gave me its significance. Because if you have Lilith in your 7th house, you like a challenge. You don't like someone to just come at you and like it's super easy and they're like, hey, I like you. And you're like, oh, I like you too. And then it's just easy and then boring, and then you will go search for something new and exciting. But if there's any type of challenge, if there is distance, if that person likes another person, whenever you get that person and they may say, oh, I don't have feelings for you, oh, I'm dating someone right now, or oh, I'm married, or oh, I can't be in a relationship right now, I'm tied to my work, whatnot, and you take that challenge and it sparks you and it kind of turns you on, you're like, oh, okay, because the satisfaction is deeper, the satisfaction is well earned when you receive that, because you were like, wow, I was the person that got them to leave that. And that's very low energy, and I would not recommend that, because I'm a big believer in karma. But this is something I experienced when I was younger, before I knew astrology, before I was spiritually woke, and I did interact with this, and I did do that, and it was kind of an ego boost for me, and I did receive my karma for that several times. Because if you have Lilith in your 7th house, if you don't act on this energy, you will attract people that will cheat on you. You will attract people that will flirt with others, that will, you know, break up your happy home and whatnot. And it's discouraging too. If you are like the most loyal person ever and you really care about someone, you invest it all, and then they cheat on you, it can really hurt your perspective for a little bit until you heal it. Also, if you have Lilith in your 7th house, you attract people that are going through addiction or alcohol. They may, it's very dark with Lilith in the 7th house. You have that darkness to you, that sensuality, and you attract people that might have mental disorders, you attract people that might be, you know, psychopaths, that might be bipolar, that might have tendencies, and then nobody sees it except for you if you are in a relationship with them, or if you are, you know, friends with them. Really, it attracts that type of people. It also attracts people that are drug addicts, that are addicted to alcohol, that may be addicted to sex, that may be, they have just a little something that they can't seem to break. And it's interesting about this sign because with Lilith in your 7th house, it can manifest if there's a part of you that you're afraid of, and say you're like afraid of cheating, you're like, I don't want to cheat on anyone, I don't want to cheat on anyone, that will project onto other people around you physically, a physical manifestation that will project onto other people. Other people will cheat on you, other people will hurt you, other people will flirt with other people while dating you or interested in you because you refuse to confront it and you push it so far from you. Or perhaps you fantasize about maybe, you know, breaking up a home and family and like that, but you don't feed into that energy, and then you will notice other people around you will act in a way that they would say, oh, I would never do that to you, and then they act on it. So Lilith in the 7th house, with this knowledge that I've found, I want to confront it more. I want to learn to accept myself. And I did, you know, for a long time I didn't know why relationships were so complicated for me, because I'm an Aquarius sun and I'm also Scorpio rising, so I'm extremely romantic. I have Taurus in my, I believe, 12th house, so I'm very loyal. I'm kind of like, I'm gonna make this work and I'm gonna stay, I'm gonna make it work over and over to my detriment. And I didn't understand for a long time why I kept attracting, even while I was single, complicated relationships. I was like, dang, can someone just like me who is single? But then now I know my subconscious mind enjoys it and kind of like seeks for it, because you want things to be, you don't desire things to be complicated, but you want it to be a challenge. Therefore, if someone actual single does hit you up, you will ignore their message if it's not challenging in some way. So yeah, Lilith in the 7th house. There was another point I wanted to talk about with this. Lilith in the 7th house, your aura, you have an undertone of sensuality. So even if you don't dress in a very sensual way, maybe if you're completely covered up and whatnot, people will take what you have to say very sensual, no matter what you're talking about. You could be talking about the sky and they'd be like, oh, really? Tell me more about the sky. And I've noticed others around me, if I'm alone with somebody, they will be more direct and more sensual around me, and then versus when they're other people, they won't advance towards me as much.